Hello, and welcome to the Brick Mortar Detroit podcast, where we discuss business, real estate, lifestyle, and travel. I'm your host, Eric Andrews, founder and owner of Brick Mortar Detroit Real Estate Brokerage. 16 years in the industry, in the real estate industry, including experience in multiple full-scale renovation, high-end luxury apartment management, extensive customer service relations, previous property director of 55 West Canfield Lofts, 2016 certified apartment manager designation in 2021, and now 2022 Airbnb superhost. I started this podcast for boots on the ground insights in Detroit from not just one, but as many professionals that I could find. Today's guest is Ashley Weaver, one of the nicest people I've ever met. Hi, Ashley. Welcome. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, so thank you for having me, Eric. I am a mother and a wife of two and an entrepreneur. I reside in Mansfield, Texas, which is about 35 minutes outside of Dallas. It's in the Southwest region, but I was born in Detroit. I've been in Texas for 12 years now, so I know a lot about the area. I was formerly a trainer and I'm still somewhat running my training business, but I am transitioning to online stuff so that I can focus more on real estate, as well as my children, my household. um, um, and yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, well, that sounds awesome. Awesome. You have a beautiful family, and I love watching your
Thank
social
you.
media and everything like that. So, definitely have a great brand. So, that's why we're actually here to kind of talk to you a little bit about that. So, are you an agent or are you a broker at the moment?
So I am an agent and I have considered becoming a broker,
Mm.
but I want to give myself maybe about 3 more years until I go into that or until I really decide if that's what I want to do.
Sure.
But I am loving real estate so far. It has its ups and downs,
Mm.
but it definitely helps you build a lot of character and thick skin.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You never lied about that. So, you're definitely in the right industry, and I'm sure you're going to go far. So, overall, what is your niche right now? Where are you specializing? Is there anything that you're focusing on in particular or that you prefer to do?
Okay, so I focus mainly on buyers. I work a lot with first time buyers. I do welcome sellers as well. In fact, I love sellers, especially in the type of market that we're in. It's
Right.
honestly a lot easier to work with sellers, but
Mm.
in general, I do work with a lot of buyers.
Awesome. Awesome. And then overall, I guess what got you into real estate?
So I wanted to get into a career that was, first of all, flexible. I focus a lot of my time on raising my kids. My kids are 3 and 4 years old. So I feel like this is a very important time to spend a lot of time with them. And with that being said, it's very hard to work a regular 9 to 5 or send your kids off to a daycare and all
Mm.
that. I really like for my kids to be home with me. So I wanted to get into this industry because I knew I would have that flexibility. And I think that this is a great industry where you can start to earn wealth very quickly. It does take a lot of hard work,
Mm.
but I think that it is well worth it in the end. And eventually, I want to get into investing in real estate because I just think that is wise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think it's really one of the only industries these days where you can actually build wealth and save money and build an empire and actually have a little bit of residual money to kind of take and invest and then grow that money. So I think you're
Absolutely.
definitely on the right track with that one.
Yeah, and
So,
it's also just rewarding too, just to help someone else, reach that goal of ownership. Like I love to see it, and
mm,
just as happy as they are, I'm happy that I was able to help them get there.
absolutely. No, I feel like it's kind of like community service. I don't know. I mean, I
Mhm.
get paid, but it does feel like community service as far as really
Yeah,
navigating and helping someone navigate this type of industry and then actually have a seamless process and move into their home and feel accomplished. So I'm totally
absolutely.
right there with you.
Yeah.
So, off of the top of your head, what would you say is the biggest difference between Texas and Detroit? I know you haven't been here as far as living here in quite some time, but I guess as far as what you remember, anything that stands out to you, what would you
Um,
say is a contrast?
I honestly, with Detroit, you're gonna feel more. you know, it's more Black. I'm just saying, it's
Hey,
more Black,
hey,
you
true.
know? And I haven't been there in a while. I know that it's probably getting a little more diversified in the city nowadays.
Mhm.
But back when I was there, it was it was a Black city, and it was
Absolutely.
nice. It was beautiful to
Mm,
me.
mm,
In Texas, though, I love it here because it's massive, number one, and it is very diverse. And there's so much opportunity in Texas. There's so many larger companies that are moving here. There's so many people that are relocating to Texas, which makes my job, it keeps me busy. However, when there's a shortage of homes on the market, then it makes me kind of want to pull my hair out
mm.
just a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's so funny that you say that because randomly in the last 3 or 4 months of last year, almost all of my family moved to Texas. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, what's taking people down there? I get that there's opportunity, but like, what is it? What is the appeal? Is it something I'm missing or what's
So
going
much
on?
space. I feel like everything is bigger in Texas. You're going to get more yard. You're going to get a bigger house.
Yeah,
You're going to get more places to go because there's so much more space.
I see.
And then, yeah, there's money here.
Mm,
Texas is a money spot. You want to make
mm.
some money, move down here.
So is it like the new California maybe? Are we looking at something like that, or is just kind of a place of its own that's kind of developing and growing?
I think it's just a place of its own. Some people say that Dallas reminds them of like a LA, but
Okay.
like a little more southern, obviously,
Okay.
But it's kind of like that. It's
Mm,
not even though we're down south,
mm.
it's not like a slow paced place at all.
Okay.
Maybe when you move out into the more rural areas, um, suburban areas, yes, the pace might be a tad bit slower,
Mm,
but in the city, there's a lot going on and it's moving fairly quickly and it's growing extremely fast. There's always new high rises
mm.
being built. You're always seeing new real estate developing everywhere.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. Might have to take another visit down there. So,
Yes.
what big cities are you servicing? So, is it just like the Mansfield? You may have kind of touched this already, but are you
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, I work in the Mansfield area, Arlington, Grand Prairie. So yeah, I like to kind of focus in the Southwest region.
mm,
However, I do still do work all around the DFW. I mean, I just sold a property in Irving, I sold a property in Garland.
okay?
I kind of bounce around everywhere, but I pretty much like to specialize in that Southwest pocket.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, since I'm not from Texas, and just for anybody who's not from Texas, are those cities kind of still close to like San Antonio, Dallas, or are they like pretty far on the other side of the state or anything like that? If they're
Well, yeah, they're San Antonio is about 3.5 hours out.
huge.
So most of the DFW, I could say you can probably maneuver within an hour.
Okay.
Like if you're going from north to south, is probably gonna take you an hour. The DFW is very big.
Mm,
Um, and there's several cities here. But yeah, I would say, it kind of varies your travel time and distances and
okay.
whatnot. But when you're thinking about like San Antonio and Austin and Houston, those places you're probably looking to drive at least 3 to 3.5 hours to get to, maybe even 4 hours,
Ooh,
especially for
okay. So that is a bit of a
Houston.
drive. And I guess what is the
Yeah.
price point that people would be looking at kind of like on average, at least right now, in that area?
So the median price point for the Dallas area is going to be about 320,000.
Okay.
Um, and that's even for like the Southwest region as well.
Mhm.
When you get more into more of like the Collin County area, which will be like Allen, McKinney, those type of cities that are very, very, very far north. Like that's probably maybe about 50 minutes from where I live, but their median price point is about at 450,000. So it's
Okay.
a little bit higher out there, but you're going to get more luxury properties in those areas. And then in the North Texas area, you're going to look at a median price of about 315,000.
Hmm. I don't feel like that's horrible considering I'm assuming that the houses are huge, like you said, and everything's a lot larger.
Yeah,
So it doesn't sound too bad. And so
yeah.
I know you were doing real estate prior to I guess the market kind of doing the pandemic thing. So what would you say is the big difference that you've noticed from the time that you started to basically when COVID started to kind of about present time?
Well, I think that right now, there are a lot of buyers looking for properties, and um, it's there. We have very little inventory. We
Mm,
have about 1 month of inventory, which in a healthy market, the inventory is about 6 months
mm,
worth.
mm,
We have 1 month or maybe a little less than that. Prior to the prior to COVID happening. And honestly, you know what? I think I was just now kind of jumping into real estate when COVID happened. I think it happened maybe 6 months after I got my license.
of course.
But yeah, so it was like you saw things kind of busy, there were more people out. There were more people trying to sell. And then I noticed that once the pandemic hit, a lot of people kind of got nervous about selling. Yeah, you did see
Mm,
people selling more,
mm,
and home values have completely risen. So it's very smart for people to sell their properties. But people are scared because they're like, okay, well, if I sell my property, where do I go? Where do I
right.
go if there's no inventory?
Exactly.
So you have people kind of wanting to sell, but they're hanging on to their properties because of the fear of not finding another place.
Absolutely.
So, it's been very challenging, and then when you work with buyers, you're there's so much competition.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are spending way over the amount that the home is valued at, which is good for the seller. It's good for the seller, but then it's like, I mean,
Not so
you
much for the buyer.
yeah, not so much for the buyer. You're not going into it with a little equity,
Right.
which, I mean, you're gonna build it, but it's like it's always nice to go in with
Absolutely.
equity,
It's a question of time, right? And the economy and kind of what happens. And like you said, you can
right.
sell a house, but where do you go? And then do you spend more money trying to find somewhere to live or rentals and apartments? So it's
Yeah,
definitely kind of a weird time. And
there.
so did you have a lot of buyers get discouraged and kind of like drop
Yes,
out? Yeah. Yeah. That's the fastest
tons,
yes I've heard.
tons.
Yes.
And I tried to hang on as best I could with certain buyers, but it was like I understood it. It was very hard. And then
Yeah.
it's like, to get your offer accepted, you got to be willing to spend a little more. And there were
Mhm.
some people who were just like, I am not with that.
Mhm.
And I'm not the type of realtor that's going to force you to
Oh no.
spend more money. I want people to feel comfortable, and I want you to do what's in your means to do. And
Sure.
I don't want you to feel pressured and uncomfortable working with me.
Mm.
So I do have a lot of compassion when it comes to my buyers feeling like that. I get it.
Absolutely. No, I always say like when you buy a house and you hate your house every day, I was your realtor. You're gonna think of me every day with hatred. I don't want that. So
Yes, like, oh my God, why did they sell me this?
that
Like,
that Ashley girl, oh, don't work with her. No,
I hate her.
right, exactly. I'm good. I'm good. We don't have to do this now. So I totally
Yeah.
get that. And
Yeah, I'm like,
so
just come back next year.
now, real estate wise, okay, so how would you compare and contrast the two markets? I know you haven't been here in a very long time, so I guess based off what you remember, which I don't know, has it been 20 years actually since you've
Man, it's been a long time. I left Detroit in 2009. I'm like,
Mm,
I don't remember much, but I do know that one of the reasons why I left is because I wanted more opportunity. And
mm,
that was during the time that Detroit we were going through a hard time. There was a lot of foreclosures and things. And, it was just looking a little dimsel, right? And so, a lot of things started happening. Like, I think there started to become more crime, more vacant housing. And I was just like, gosh, like, what do I do here? I'm fresh out of college. And I was just like, I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna just go. I'm going to Texas. My sister lives in Texas.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm gonna just go.
Gotcha.
So I went to Texas with the dream of just having more opportunity. And I wanted to be a cowboy cheerleader. Side note. I mean,
for you, that was actually probably an option. So, okay, I don't think it was such a crazy dream. So, I mean,
I wanted to be a cowboy cheerleader. I wanted to try that out. Now, ultimately, what ended up happening was I started dancing for the Dallas Mavericks. I did that for a couple seasons.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so I kind of fulfilled my dream somewhat.
So we got on the platform.
Yeah, I had some pom-poms. That was the goal. That was the ultimate goal, to have some pom-poms and be a professional at it. So did that, knocked that off the bucket list.
Mission accomplished.
But yes, mission accomplished. So that was my main thing. It was just more opportunity. But now, like when I look at Detroit, there's so much more opportunity there now. Detroit has grown so much. And I actually miss Detroit like a ton. And I cannot wait to come back and visit. Now, I'm not coming back right now because it's too cold.
No, I'm trying to get down to Texas, but you just said it's dropping to 30 degrees. So
yeah, right now it's about 54 in Texas. I'm like, I can handle that.
I can do jacket weather. That's jacket weather. I can deal with
that. Yeah.
No, a lot of people left around the same time you did. Most people moved to like Georgia and Atlanta, and it was like literally I looked up and most of my friends lived in the South. Most of my family lived in the South, and I was like, wow. But I just saw opportunity. But I could definitely see why a person would want to leave, especially around that time. It just didn't seem like anybody was paying attention to Detroit whatsoever. And more often than not, I noticed that most people that are moving here are actually transplants, because especially right now with the pandemic, a lot of people that lived in New York and other places like that don't want to live on top of each other, don't want to live in a closet. For what they were spending, you could have a whole house like 3,000 square feet, versus like 200 square feet. So that definitely was a reason that a lot of people left, but also a reason that people are moving here. So for you, would you say that where you are there a lot of transplants kind of coming? Is that what is kind of making things move?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I've met so many people who come from everywhere. Like everybody, it is true. Everybody is moving to Texas. And that's why it's like you just see so many different developments. It's like they're just making room because there are people coming in droves, especially from California.
Okay.
You get those people who sell their homes in California and then they come here and they cash out. They beat out all the buyers here, with their huge cash offers. And it's just insane, and Texas people, that's what we want. We're like, where's the people from California?
Right. No, that's exactly what's happening here. Is like their budget is so crazy that people here who are just getting approved for like the average here, they're killing them by $30 and $40 and $50,000, and it's just like, who's really going to compete with that? So we're getting a lot of California people here too. So
I
don't know. I guess California is going to fall off the face of the earth, and they're like, oh, let's gotta move outward.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. So awesome. In the spirit of entrepreneurship, I know just about all my guests are hustlers and have multiple businesses and revenue streams. So what are you doing to diversify income, or what have you done, or what do you prefer to do?
So I seeing that fitness is just really embedded in me. And just like how I love to see people reach their goals of home ownership, I love to see people reach their fitness goals, their health goals. So that is something that I'm going to continue. I'm working on building an online platform so that I can help tons of people from all over, and they can kind of connect with me one-on-one, and I can just help them reach those goals. And nowadays, I mean, with this COVID stuff, there's more people at home, there's more people sitting, there's more people snacking, and there's more people that are just like, oh my God, I'm gaining weight because we're sitting more, we don't get to get out as much. And so now I really feel that this is an important time for me to really give back. I mean, I got my degree in kinesiology. I'm a certified personal trainer.
Right.
And that's something that I've been doing
Mm.
for, I want to say I've been a trainer for about 10 years.
Mm.
So, and I had a very, I had a small personal training business,
Sure.
but it was lucrative, it was nice, but it was just me being a mom of two now and me doing all that running back and forth to different clients. It was a lot of strain on me.
Sure.
So I had to kind of push back for a moment.
Hmm.
But now I'm ready to reach people again, but
Okay.
just do it in a virtual way instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can reach a lot more people that way. And
Hmm.
this is a little bit of a sidebar, but since so many people are at home and are, I guess, snacking and doing things that they probably shouldn't, let's not say shouldn't be doing, but isn't the best for them. What are maybe two or
That's
three
true.
things that you can kind of put out there for people who might be sitting down a lot, maybe not getting enough stretching or exercising, or maybe a good snack or two that they can kind of go to? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes. I would say always sit around with like a cup of water. That's
Hmm.
number one.
Hmm.
Water flushes fat. Water is going to flush any type of toxins. Every hour, you need to be sipping on that water.
Okay.
And I would say, if you don't have an Apple Watch that tells you to stand up, because mine be telling me to stand up, I'm
It's
like,
time.
okay, fine.
Right, exactly.
But get you an alarm that alerts you to kind of get up and do
Mm.
some type of physical activity, whether it's go to the grocery store. And I know that that's hard because a lot of people, they don't want to go to grocery stores now, but that is a quick way to get active and
Mm.
do something that is going to be beneficial for you. Put on
Mm.
that mask, get out there and go.
Mm.
Get up and do something. Get up, knock out about 100 jumping jacks and sit back down and finish what you're doing. Healthy snacks. It's always nice to sit and snack on anything that is like a whole food.
Okay.
Celery, carrots,
Mm.
peanut butter, apples. Those are like my favorite snacks to just sit and
Mm.
have at my desk while I'm working. I love, apples with peanut butter, celery with peanut butter, cucumbers with tahini. That's been my latest treat. I don't know if you know what tahini is, but it's like
I
that
have
spice.
heard of it, and I'm not sure if I know what it is. But
It's
I've
so good. It's like a spice, and you find it. It's weird. You got to find it in the fruit section at the grocery store
okay.
because you put it on fruit like mangoes, pineapples, cucumber. Well, cucumber's not fruit, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a healthy little snack for you. Or even like, I know you feel like you're probably gonna choke on it because it's dry, but brown rice cakes or whole grain rice cakes,
I like
those are
those
healthy
actually.
snacks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, like adding that to your diet, with your little hummus or your peanut butter, almond butter. It's all about choosing the right foods. It's not
Mm.
about deprivation. You don't want to feel like you're punishing yourself.
Mm.
It's just making the right decisions. That's
Yeah, it can definitely be hard. Well, we have to have you
all.
come back for a fitness and health episode.
Yeah, for
Awesome.
sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are moving through it pretty quickly, which is awesome. So, I guess my last few questions to you would be: do you have any recommendations for those people who are looking to move to Texas, specifically now in this particular climate?
I would say if you're looking to move to Texas, definitely find your agent first. Go online, um contact me. I'm here to help you, and
Yes.
if I can't service the area that you're looking for, I can definitely refer you to someone. But I would say kind of like do your research, like just Google different cities, just kind of get a feel for it first.
Hmm.
Also, if you have a job that is relocating you here, make sure that you kind of research that little area that your job is in, because you don't want to have to end up commuting 2 hours to go to work. You want to live near where you're working. But I would say the biggest thing is just to find a realtor, because if your realtor is anything like me, I'm going to help you find properties around the area where you might be working, or the area where you're thinking about
Right.
moving to. I'm going to start looking into school districts for
Mm.
you. I'm going to provide that information that you need
Mm.
prior to that move.
Gotcha.
And then,
Gotcha.
you also want to just get your moving money together. Yes, you got to have your down payment money set aside, but think about how much it's going to cost to move everything. Never forget to factor in
Mm.
those things because that can be pretty costly too.
Very costly, especially cross country.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so, a little bit of a sidebar, but what is the school thing like right now? Is the school thing, is it kind of like hard? Are you guys doing pretty well with your school systems? Is it still virtual school? Is it some hybrid?
Yeah, you know what? I think that a lot of schools right now, they're giving the kids the option to do virtual or
Hmm.
actually go. Like I have a nephew in high school right now, and sometimes he has the option to stay at home and do virtual learning.
Hmm.
My kids, I have a pre-K child, and she typically goes to school every
Hmm.
day, Monday through Friday. But it is hard. They get very germy. So I'm kind of like, I'm starting to get leery about sending her to school. Right now, she's
Sure.
not in school.
I don't
Like
blame
it's
you.
Monday and she's not there
I do
because
not
she has
blame
a
you.
little cough. So it's pretty tough. And I have a 3-year old that just goes to a program just twice a week. I've never been one of those parents that have been just wanting to send my kids out there
Mm,
in the middle of a pandemic. Like
no,
it's so much illness going on. Honestly, I went to CVS the other day and tried to look for some children's cough medicine.
gone.
All the shelves were
Mm,
empty.
yes.
So that just explains like how much sickness is really going around.
Mm,
And I mean, I don't blame these parents for letting their kids stay at home and do the
sure.
virtual learning. And
Sure.
right now they are very I think that in Texas, in the DFW area, I think they are really open to that. They're
Mm,
giving the kids that option.
mm. And if you had to, I guess, describe this area that you kind of live in and work in a few words, just so people who might be looking to move can kind of get an idea, how would you describe it? Are there any words that stand out to you?
Well, in the Mansfield area, I would say it is very family oriented, very family friendly.
Mm,
You're not going to catch a lot of like traffic and fast driving and loudness.
mm,
It's very just it's very inviting for
yes.
families of any color. When I'm floating around, when I'm going to my local grocery store, my local um, mail, my local postage center, I see people of all types, and it just makes me feel comfortable. I love living in Mansfield. Mansfield is very close to Arlington and Grand Prairie,
Mm,
and that's kind of what you get in all of those areas. And
gotcha.
it makes me feel comfortable. I like it a lot. So when people say they want to move to Dallas, a lot of times I kind of, I may say, hey, here are my favorite places. Let's check these places out.
Sure.
But I definitely I'm open to showing people all parts of the DFW because
Of course.
in general, it's awesome.
Mm, mm. Okay, well, that was very thorough. I think that actually would be very helpful because, like I said, a lot of people all of a sudden, oh, we're moving to Texas now. Okay, well, guess I'll come visit, but I have no
Yeah.
no desire to move away right now. But so these questions are going to be a little similar, but I'm going to ask them anyway. So, any recommendations for those who are actually looking to get into real estate as an agent in Texas? Do you like, I don't know, from your experience, or maybe something you wish someone would have told you getting in? What comes to mind when I ask that?
Well, I would say that it's wise to get a mentor.
Mm,
Um, when I first got into real estate, I wanted to work with a big company, a known company, and it was helpful, but it also kind of like drained my pockets some, and
mm,
I wasn't making any money yet.
mm,
So I would say, even though it sounds like it's smart to go with the big brokerage that everybody knows,
mm,
but you might want to go with a smaller brokerage,
mm,
where they can have personal relationships and really take your hand and guide you through the steps that you need to earn that success in this industry. So I would say, if I could do it all over again, I probably would have started with a
mm,
smaller brokerage firm,
mm.
and just worked on having that one-on-one connection with someone there, someone who could really mentor and guide me.
No, I totally agree. I started with Keller Williams in Northfield, and it was a little overwhelming in a way because, I didn't want to ruin my name or my brand starting off. So of course I needed my handheld, and it was just such a big marketplace that, sometimes they feed you leads, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have to start off as a buyer's agent, but I never felt like I had anybody directly to go and talk to. And that is why I actually went to a smaller brokerage so I could
Yeah.
have my handheld. And here I am with a brokerage now of my own. But I truly agree with that. Sometimes the big brokerage is kind of, you're just a number. You got to
Yeah.
pay fees, got to pay dues sometimes, and this is that and the other. And it works for people, but for some other people who might need a little bit more, I don't know, hand holding,
Yeah,
then
need
it
more
might be a
personal
good thing.
attention.
Absolutely. A mentor is definitely a great start. So,
Yep.
last two questions. Any thoughts for people who are looking to invest or do business in Texas? So more so, they're looking to put their money there. Where would they start? What might be kind of a good process to go to? Contacting a realtor is always a good start, but does anything come to mind when I say that?
I would say, for people who are looking to invest here, invest in property, um, there, number one, it is good to get with a realtor, because realtors, they have that insight that you may not have. And, we have contacts or connects with a lot of other realtors in the city. We have connects to get pocket listings, things that haven't even
Mhm,
hit the market.
mhm.
We know the areas best. So, I mean, again, I know this answer sounds a lot like my other answer, but
They're similar questions.
yeah, but getting with a realtor in the area and just having that realtor kind of inform you on the best areas to be at. There's a lot of areas here, especially in the South Dallas area, Southwest Dallas area, where the neighborhoods, the property value may be pretty low, but there are investors going into those areas and they are building up those homes. They are putting $400,000, $1 million homes in those areas because I mean, it's it doesn't take a lot of money to do it, and those areas they're building it up. I feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to look completely different. So a lot of investors, they kind of float to areas like that. And I mean, it takes a realtor, sometimes to inform them of where they need to be at to make that happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, final question before we end. So I know again, it's been a while since you've been in Detroit, but do you have a crazy Detroit story?
Oh my
'Cause-
God. And I don't. I wish I did. I'm like, gosh, I just don't even sound like a Detroiter right now.
Where are you from, Ashley? No, just kidding. So, okay.
Right. I'm like, I'm from 6 Mile and Outer Drive.
Oh, right over here. Okay. So, do you have a crazy real estate story? Do you have a crazy Texas story? Do you have, just give me a crazy something? I know you got something.
Look, blinks. I'm like, apparently my life is just not even,
There's nothing wrong with that. I am envious.
it is not, it is really not exciting. I'm trying to think I mean, I've been locked out of homes while I had a client with me and it was like 100-degree weather and I'm all nice and cute and my pits are sweating and I'm trying to figure it out. Like that's happened to me. And I've actually seen that on a meme on Instagram and I'm like, ooh, I can relate. That happened
No,
before.
it's so funny. Is you're trying to like keep your cool and be cool, but you're like
You're like,
embarrassed or
hold on.
whatever.
I'm gonna get in here. Hold on. Wait
Right, exactly. Like,
a
oh, we
second.
go in the back door and the agents aren't answering the phone. Like, no, those are some of the worst stories for agents because
Yeah, and then
they
you just
can't.
gotta be spontaneous
Yeah,
and
exactly.
when you got
Exactly.
the tools, you can do it. So, I got like little apps on my phone and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? We can't get in this house, but there's another one around the corner. Let's go look.
Exactly. Always offer something else or say, I will figure it out for you. Never just kind of end there,
Yes,
but that's how it's
yes,
done.
that is
It's
what
like
I do.
improv. Just keep it going.
That is what I do.
Cool,
But oh my
cool.
God, I miss Detroit so much. I just want to come home and I just want to ride down like Jefferson or something. I just want
Hey, it looks completely different. I live here and like, for the most part, I work from home and I work from my home office. And sometimes we'll go to a few of the offices around here. But long story short, I can go downtown within like 4 or 5 days or a week, maybe sometimes a month of each other. And it looks totally different. It's a new restaurant, it's a new building, it's a new facing. I'm like, do I even live here anymore? Because I'm like, where am I? It's so
that's
crazy
how
how
I
fast it's
felt
happening. Yeah,
last time
exactly.
I went. I was there October 2020. When did I go? October 2020. 20.
Well, it wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago. Okay, so you have
Yeah.
an
So it
idea. So,
wasn't that long ago.
okay,
Yep. And it was just like, it was real, real different. I was
it's a different place. It's a
floating
different
around the
place.
Campus Martius area. Is that what
Yeah.
it's called? And
Mhm.
I was just like, there's a Lululemon over here. Like,
Right, exactly. Like, okay. Things have really changed because we went to Cass, so you remember it being a ghost town, Cass
Yes, it was a
corridor,
ghost town. I remember just
literally nothing.
leaving school and getting pizza from that store and being kind of harassed by the people who
Yeah, that was just a day to day,
and it was normal. We'd be like, hey,
Exactly.
I don't have $1 today. I don't.
Exactly. All right, one more question, and we'll do our outro, and then we'll be done. So, what is your day to day like?
So okay, I wake up, I get my kids ready for school, or if they're not going to school, I fix them breakfast. I open up my gratitude journal and I always write 3 things that I am grateful for today. I also say a quick prayer, and then I typically will eat my breakfast, have my coffee, check my emails, and then I'll check to see what is on the market, like what has appeared on the market. And a lot of times it's not much because we don't have much inventory, but it's always good to know what's there so I know what to show people.
Sure.
And then I make follow-up calls if I've gotten some inquiries, or if I know someone in the time frame that needs to be buying, I contact them. I always do my little reach outs, and then once I'm done with that, I may go and do a workout. Typically, it's nice to do your workout in the top of the morning, but I'm just not set up that way. So,
Really?
I squeeze my workout in maybe a little bit later in the afternoon.
Sure.
And then I might go pick up my kids from school if they're not, if they're at school. And then I come home, prepare dinner, maybe check emails again, make a couple more phone calls. And then by 8:30, I'm getting my kids to bed, and then I'm sitting down and watching some TV. I'm decompressing and getting ready for the next day. That's it. And if I do have some showings, I definitely squeeze those showings in. A lot of times it's very spontaneous, when I might be showing a client something. It's never quite planned. Sometimes it is, sometimes
it's not. For some reason.
Hey, I just seen something. Can we go see it? And I'm like, okay, sure, hold on.
I guess.
Yeah, right. It's hard to say no.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, I totally get that. Like, okay, I guess I gotta get up. So, okay. Now, are you guys expecting more inventory? Would you think as well? I don't know. You're not really having like the winter season that we have here, so
yeah. So I'm hopeful that we will get more inventory. I know that sometimes people like to wait until they're over like that holiday hump, the holiday season, to get ready to sell, which is great. I think that the spring season is going to look very good for both buyers and sellers. And that's what I'm hoping for, but typically things start to move around like January, February, this time. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and praying that there's more inventory for my buyers, and everyone yields some type of success.
Absolutely. Well, it'll definitely work out. So we have a quick word from our sponsors. Is work or real estate getting you down? Are you feeling burned out or depressed? Well, there's a solution you can use right from your comfort of your privacy of your own home computer. Center for Establishing Recovery is Metro Detroit's leading provider for e-therapy. If you're in need of a listening ear, contact Center for Establishing Recovery at establishingrecovery.com. Again, that website is establishingrecovery.com. Well, that's it for today. You've been listening to the Brick Mortar Detroit podcast, where we discuss business, real estate, lifestyle, and travel. I'm your host, Eric Andrews, founder and owner of Brick Mortar Detroit Real Estate Brokerage. We've been interviewing today Ashley Weaver. Ashley, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything that you'd like to promote or tell anybody about? Leave some links, some contact information. It's your time. Feel free.
Yes, you can definitely find me on Instagram at Realtor Ashley W. You can also find my business page on Facebook at Realtor Ashley Weaver. And you can also visit my website if you would like to check out inventory here, or contact me at soldbyashleyweaver.com.
Awesome. Thanks again, Ashley. And I don't know, I hope everything goes well for you. I haven't talked to you in so long, so it's so good to hear from you.
Yes,
and
thank you. Likewise.
Well. Absolutely.
Yes.
Talk to you later.
All right.
All right, bye. Brick Mortar Detroit podcasts and newsletters reflect the opinions of only the authors who are associated guests of podcasts and do not reflect the views of Brick Mortar Detroit LLC or any of its subsidiaries or affiliates. They are for informational purposes only and are not a recommendation of an investment strategy or to buy or sell any home, security, or asset in any market. They are also not research reports and are not intended to serve as the basis for any investment decision. Any third-party information provided therein does not reflect the views of Brick Mortar Detroit LLC or any of their subsidiaries or affiliates. All investments involve risk, including the loss of money, principal, and past market performance does not guarantee future results. We always recommend you enlist a professional entity for any investment decision you may be considering.